Joking. I can't get it into gear. This is crazy. Oh my God, the lawn guys are helping now too. Ugh. Yeah, this was not how I wanted the update to go. What's up everybody? My name is Elliott, but you can call me the Motory Notary. And remember, it's really hard to move forward if you're constantly looking backwards, but sometimes it can be helpful to take stock of where you're at currently in order to move forward more efficiently. And that's exactly what I'm planning on doing today with a little thing that most car YouTubers call a fleet update. So let's get right to it, and I promise I'm gonna make this one fun. I'm going to start the fleet update off with kind of a studio update. As you can tell from the wire that just hit me, these lights are up, but they aren't completely wired yet. But the cool and hard part was getting them up there in the first place. This has already made a huge difference getting cars in and out of here. As you can tell, the massive amount of space increase that I've just received. But the important part is that the lights are up and they just need to be wired now. So we're just a few days away from me being over here lit up like a Christmas tree. But I promise it is going to be tasteful, professional lighting and no more blue or red or pink issues that we used to have of the past. I'm very excited about the studio light situation that is developing as we speak. Okay, let's start off the car portion of the fleet update with everyone's favorite, the Volvo V70R Spaceball manual, seen here tending its battery, because I always want this thing to be ready to go because I've actually been driving it. But what's going on with it mechanically and where are we at video-wise here? Well, the last thing I did to it was kind of get it ready to go to an autocross that I ended up not setting my alarm for and completely missing. But I was able to clear the airbag code simply by taking out this passenger seat, fiddling around with everything underneath here, plugging it back in so it had its airbag sensor and all that stuff, making sure it worked, which it does, not right now because the key's not on. But that didn't solve the airbag light. It took several key cycles and ultimately hooking up the DICE/Vita computer to clear the light. But in doing so, I now have one less light on the dash. So where does that leave us with everything else? Well, the next step on this car is to actually disassemble the steering wheel and get that steering angle sensor out and start the diagnosis procedure with that with the help from the folks at Zemedex. The reason I'm waiting on that is because I have to take the steering wheel out and everything. I have to carve out a good time to disable this vehicle for at least a week and a half, and believe it or not, there's never really a good time to disable a vehicle, but I will get that done. However, while I'm still thinking on the timeline for that, there's also a couple of other things that have come in. All right, had to switch out of handheld mode for this because it's literally impossible with only one hand, because I have to put up my support stick. But now that my support stick is up, I can show you some of the parts that I'm amassing back here. The most important one, and the one that I'm most excited about is, are you ready for this? Are you ready? Shh. Yes. This is one wiper arm. I had to order them both separately from eBay. One was $25, the other was $35. I'm not sure why one was worth more than the other, but I got the first one of them in, which means this car is halfway there to having wipers. Can't believe it. It's almost like a real car at this point. In this box, which is crazy, it's bigger than the actual arm, are the actual wiper blades, and those I just got from FCP Euro. That should be good. Looking forward to these. Speaking of my support stick though here, the reason I have to use it at all is because my hatch struts here are completely blown. However, I do have those. I've actually had them for a while. I just was debating putting them on because if you remember, things weren't looking so good for the Volvo there for a while, but now that things are looking up, I think it's earned its hatch struts. So that will be happening as well. Now, I'll switch back to handheld mode so I can finish the rest of this. So that's the major update on the Volvo. The only part I didn't address was the smoking issue, which, as you guys saw in the last video, I somewhat determined that was the turbo, but it turns out it really could be a clogged catalytic converter or the valves. It could need new valve seals. Really, I guess it could need all three, which would be very bad. But before I address that stuff, because it still seems to be working just fine, I really want to knock out the electrical gremlins on this car because that is this car's biggest holdup at the moment. However, I will be addressing the turbo stuff as well. But for now, let's move on to the next vehicle. Actually, you know what, before I move on to the next car thing, something interesting is going on behind me here. This is a working shop, remember, and my uncle is using these very ancient metal punching machines to punch out a custom frame for the new lighting setup that these will hold diffusers for the lights. But it's really cool to watch these machines go, especially with how old they are. What year is this from?
72.
It's 1972. on, look at that. It's done. So we're gonna punch out this center part, and then the other part holds the diffuser.
That's it.
But this is what's cool, is this machine over here, this holds the tape that would have used to have run the program for whatever it is that you were punching out. But no, we've upgraded in technology to floppy disks being run on an old ALR computer running DOS. So that is the modern version of all of this. And really, for stuff like that, it's perfect. This was worth including because this is something that's happening in the shop. Here we are. It's happening. It's happening all around us. Let's move on to the next car. Yes, up next in the fleet update is going to be everybody's ex-favorite before the Volvo and my current favorite, the CarTrek Maserati. This 2003 Maserati Coupe GT was once owned by Tavares and famously used in the second season of the CarTrek show, the 5th season of which is airing live on his channel right now. So this car has got a lot of history, got a lot of fame, and it's very, very recognizable. But to give you the full update on this car, why don't we take it out and drive it? Plus, we'll get to demonstrate my favorite part of this car, the cold start. Okay, well, I was gonna say, how is the old Maserati, but my shift linkage just broke. I'm not even joking. I can't get it into gear. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Good thing the hazards are constantly on in this car. All right, well, this needs to be dealt with. Hold on. Ouch. Yeah, I can't get it into gear. It literally just popped and I can't do anything. If you need to let me out in front first, if I need to roll down at all, let me know, but oh my God, the lawn guys are helping now too. Ugh. Oh, this is something. Oh, it's uphill. Sorry, boys. Very embarrassing. Yeah, this was not how I wanted the update to go. Well, this looks like it's gonna be the next car to go up on the little skates. Well, it does sound good, but now it don't drive good as much. Well, no point in putting it in gear. This was embarrassing. Unsuccessful then. Shift linkage broke. Okay, well, needless to say, that is not how I expected that update drive to go. I think it either broke its linkage or it slipped out of the little thing that's holding it. Either way, there was definitely something that was already worn out. You always had to kind of jam it into first. But now, let me show you what the shifter looks like now that nothing's connected. When you play pretend like a little kid, you can go, but this, there's no gates and nothing. Everything's neutral because we have lost connection. Luckily though, this thing did get disconnected, literally leaving the driveway, because that could have been very unfortunate if I was any distance further away from, well, where we are. But luckily, my uncle, some other guys that work here, and the lawn mowing crew helped push the car back in. So in summary, the Maserati was running great until I went to do this video, and then it kind of gave up. But hopefully it's a simple little thing to pop in there, and on to the next car we go. The next car that I can update you guys on is this, my 1997 BMW 528i that I lovingly call the FreeMW, because I originally got this car for free from Tyler Hoover of Hoovie's Garage last Christmas during a Secret Santa style giveaway. And since then, it has been an amazing vehicle. It has over 250,000 miles and it's loaded with character. All I've had to do to it was replace a few things and do a minor tune-up, and it has been one of the most reliable cars in my entire fleet. This thing's a joy to drive and it is buttery smooth, something of which I demonstrated in a previous video with this car. But before I go on too much more about this car, there's a gift in the back of it that I just have to show you guys. One second. This is from a company called LP3D UK, and they make 3D models of whatever car or vehicle you want. And they reached out to me and asked me what car I wanted a model of, and I said, well, that's easy, the FreeMW. And look at this thing. Hold on, let me get something to display this on. Look at this, got my handy dandy easel that everybody has. Look, it is a perfect 3D model of the FreeMW. Now, this company is somebody that I actually originally reached out to on Instagram. I needed a birthday gift for Jacob, and these guys said they could make a model of anything. So I had them make a model of Jacob's airplane, an Aerostar, something that they didn't have, but they went out, made it, and got it to me in time for his birthday. And for a limited time, they've actually given me a coupon code. I feel like a real YouTuber now. You can use code Alvis10 to get 10% off of your order. Now, I'm not sure what holiday is exactly coming up here, but believe me, there is a car guy or gal in your life that would love a model of their car. I mean, look at this thing. It's on a cool black setting and it's in a really nice frame. This would make excellent garage or office art for anybody. So be sure to check out the link in my description below and use code Alvis10 for 10% off of your order. Now, let's get the FreeMW out on the road and hopefully complete a successful test drive here. All right, let's try to get one successful test drive under our belts today in this video. All we have to do is make it past this driveway and we're gonna be golden. And look at that, we're good. I told you this thing was reliable. All right, so the rest of the update on the old FreeMW here. First of all, it just is a joy to drive. This thing is so smooth, I don't even feel like I need to grip the shifter properly. I mean, it's just a open palmed slap and it is just buttery. I love this thing. Of course, it has more miles than I care to look at, and it is, you know, a little faded on the paint department, but it's patina, and this is still a BMW, so it still feels very fancy. As far as what's changed since the last time you guys have seen this car is, well, I can drive it with the windows up in the dead of summer because the air conditioner actually works now. And you might be wondering, what was the fix? Well, I was wondering too. Since one of the things that was definitely wrong with this car was the AC, and one of the reasons it was brought into the Wizard in the first place, I thought, man, this is gonna be a big fix. So we were taking stuff apart, testing stuff, manually applying power to the AC compressor while the car was on. I disassembled the climate control thingy over here 3 different times, couldn't find anything wrong with it. And at the end of the day, I had Jacob just press the little snowflake AC button really, 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 really hard, and the AC compressor came on. And now I've got full AC in this car. I guess it turns out if your air conditioning is broken in your BMW, you just need to press the button harder than you feel comfortable pressing it, and poof, it's on. So there's a lot going right with this car, but as far as things that need to be fixed before this car is perfect, well, other than the faded paint, the main thing that needs to be addressed on this car is part of what makes it so buttery smooth. It's suspension. It's bordering on too buttery smooth, suspiciously smooth, dare I say, too loose. You can really feel it when you start tossing it around here. It's a little wallowy, even for a car from the 90s. I believe that every rubber component on the suspension system and steering apparatus has absolutely crumbled into dust. And that is going to be a costly fix, but a necessary fix if I'm going to continue putting as many miles on this car as I am. But other than that, it's just a good, solid car. I love driving it. It's dead reliable, and like I said, makes me feel pretty classy. All right, now that we've gotten one successful test drive under our belts, let's head back and I'll give you a speed update on everything else that's going on, including one of the cars that went away. All right, one successful test drive down, thank goodness. Now, like I said, I'm gonna speed through the rest of this. Up top here, we have my 1992 Corvette that I recently did a video on, and then I pretty much haven't driven it since. I know, it's totally my fault and I really need to drive that car more, but everything has just been so hectic. I promise it won't be on the back burner forever, but let's keep going and see what else is going on. Maserati, still broken, still processing that, very frustrating. My dad's cars though, this is his 1954 Corvette, and this has just undergone a minor restoration of its own since its great race days. As you can see, everything is perfect, everything is in its place, and it has recently undergone a full conversion back to a 6-volt system. So this car is pretty much ready to be NCRS judged. It is amazing, and I just did a VinWiki car story that heavily involved this car, so be sure to check that out. Moving on, we got a 1929 Model A Ford. Hasn't been driven too much, but we are doing a little bit of work on it. It's still an amazing car. Love this thing, totally different driving experience. Over here is a 1960 Corvette that if you guys followed me on Instagram, you will have seen that it recently had some corrosion in its gas tank, which reminds me, if you're not following me on Instagram, please do so. Check out the link in my description below. I share a lot of stuff on there that I don't get a chance to show on here, so be sure to follow me on Instagram to see updates on cars like this. Anyway, this thing's very beautiful and will be back on the road very soon. Other than that, we'll have to move outside to get the rest of the fleet update done here. And like I said, we're still kind of on a speed run here. So 1 second, we'll blink out there. Okay, and just like that, we're outside. I told you guys this was a speed run. Now this is my Prius, this is my workhorse. Not a lot to update you on here, except for this one modification that I just did. Check this out, it's inside. I have acquired seat beads. Now these are horrible, I'm not serious with these, but it was a recent prop acquisition because this Prius is going to have its cable television debut in a small role in an upcoming project that I'll tell you about more when it gets closer. But in that role, it kind of had to be a taxi, so I got something that taxis are known for, seat beads. Now personally, I've been driving around with them for a few days and I really don't get what they're for. They're not really massaging, they're not really taking any of the heat off of the seat. I'm not quite sure why cabbies love them, but there must be a reason. If you know the reason why seat beads exist, please let me know in the comments. But anyway, that's about the only thing that's going on with the Prius, is it's about to be famous and I have seat beads for the next few days. And the final portion of the update involves this sad corner over here, which is now empty with nothing but the ghost of oil drops past from one of the classics. In fact, it was the Malibu Classic turned into the Malibu Class. I recently sold it. Yes, I actually sold it. But think of it on the bright side. I was going to give it to a junkyard, but in fact, somebody on Facebook Marketplace said they wanted to give it a second shot at life, so I let it go. And just the other day, I watched it get winched up onto a trailer. It was a sad moment, but it was time. Let me know if you'd like to see another cheap car project that's actually successful on the channel sometime, because I think this little spot over here needs to be filled. So there's a fleet update for you, and what a fleet update it was. In fact, it was so surprising that even I didn't know the Maserati was having a problem until this very video. Now, as far as every other car is concerned, they're all in a fairly manageable condition with known states and known states of repair, which is always a good thing. Unfortunately, I am down a car, but I may have a car on its way that'll be here soon, so keep an eye out for something new on the channel, which I'm very excited about. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. Be sure to follow me on Instagram for tons of behind the scenes stuff that I don't always get to show on the channel. Follow me on Facebook, join my Facebook group. It's a great place to share memes, and I'm almost always in there in the comments. Be sure to check out the LP3D UK website and get your own 3D printed model for either yourself or the loved one in your family who loves stuff like that. And other than that, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe on this video. It greatly helps my YouTube performance, and I will see you guys on the next video. Apparently I need new brake rotors too, because that was just warp central when I applied the brakes right there.